Well, I'm very, very pleased to be here with my great friend, colleague, partner, and I believe the best organic marketer when it comes to fitness businesses on the planet. Welcome, Jimmy. How are you, bud?
I'm very well. Thank you for the pump up, Dan. I appreciate it.
Now, don't disappoint now after a pump up like that, but I know you won't, mate. So, this course is all about organic marketing. It's how to grow your business without having to spend a cent on ads. And I know this is something that you've done particularly well. Do you want to share just a little about your background and how pivotal organic marketing has been for you in building multiple successful businesses?
Yeah, I think it all kind of went back to when I first bought my gyms off our good friend Mark Richardson. It was meant to be the best day, of my life, and I was very grateful. But when I bought my first fitness business, I had I think under $500 left in my bank account. I didn't actually know how to run paid ads and things like that. So I was forced to market organically to be able to scale so my business was somewhat successful and started to grow. So I kind of had to learn it out of necessity, and then fell in love with it over time because of the high quality of leads and how powerful it can be, is how I kind of got into it. Yeah.
Excellent. And how would you define organic marketing? Because there is some confusion over what's organic and what's not. What does organic marketing mean to you, Jimmy?
So generally, like any marketing on social media that you're not putting paid money behind, be
Excellent.
organic.
Fantastic. Now, you talked about you had Code Fiber, a hugely successful chain of gyms that you created literally from nothing. And you actually got over 100 members, your first 100 members, just through organic marketing, didn't you?
Yeah, we got to like 130 one-on-one PT clients, just using organic marketing, a little bit of like text message and network marketing as well, for sure. But predominantly just using, Facebook groups, Facebook profiles, and Instagram accounts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remarkable. So you can see what an impact, and obviously you're an early adopter back then. For those listening and going through this course, why should fitness business owners consider organic marketing?
I think one of the problems a lot of fitness business owners have is often having money to reinvest into their marketing. It's really easy, for us to say spend $600 to $1,000 a week on ads to scale, which you can. But when you're first starting out, is being able to leverage off free marketing just by putting a little bit of time involved will keep your business highly profitable. But also in the long run is you want to have multiple streams of leads so that your business is safe. It's not uncommon for Facebook pages to be shut down, ad accounts to be shut down, all those kind of things that happen. Is if you can have multiple flows of leads, you do sleep easier at night as a business owner, especially when, bad things do happen in terms of your marketing plan and delivery mechanisms.
Yeah, absolutely. Not having all your eggs in that one basket, but rather
Never.
diversifying that lead generation and organic marketing being a key piece of that. When it comes to the quality of leads, you mentioned it very, very briefly. What are some of the advantages we see with organic marketing and the quality of leads?
Generally, if it's done well, you will get a higher quality of leads, purely because the timeline of like awareness to sale is generally a little bit longer. So in paid ads, you can run an ad, you can get someone's name, email, phone number, and call them within 30 minutes. But that means the lead quality is a lot lower from the pattern interrupt. Is what you guys will find in marketing organically is because the buying cycle is a little bit longer. Like you can't just add a friend and jump on it and start calling them within 30 seconds, is the quality of lead is a lot higher because people are making a longer buying decision in comparison to what they're doing with your standard pattern interrupt paid ads.
So we develop much more of a relationship, and there's more depth to the actual interaction itself before the purchasing takes place.
100%.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about some of the best practices, because you work with, in the Inner Circle program, you work with over 500 fitness business owners, and you obviously see a lot of things out there. What is some of the best practices that you've identified when it comes to organic marketing?
So you really just need three strategies in terms of your organic marketing to do really well. So each platform is a little bit different for sure. But you'll need a strategy on each account on how you actually grow to have more friends or more followers. So essentially more people can have eyeballs on your content, and also you can message more people. Then you'll need to have a basic content posting strategy. So a beginner posting strategy, which is where probably most people will be at, would be repurposing all the content that you're doing across multiple platforms. So that would be posting the same thing on Instagram as you do on Facebook to keep things easy. But within your content, you must be moving people through the trust part of your marketing. And then also authority is really important. So posting content that gives people results in advance is actually helpful and actionable, will help a lot within that content posting strategy. And then also a lot of social proof as well, either your own social proof that you're fit and healthy, or the clients that lives that you're transforming. And then the final part is it all kind of goes down in the DMs with organic marketing. So having a basic framework to do sell by chat, which you'll have to learn how to do yourself, and then you can potentially delegate it, are the three kind of factors that you have to get dialed in to do really well.
I love that you've divided it into those three. Let's unpack those three a little bit. So first, we've got grow your audience. So obviously, the bigger your audience, the more opportunities there are to have more conversations, the more eyeballs on your content itself. What are some of the effective strategies, and it may be platform dependent, what are some of the effective strategies you can share with the audience on how to grow their audience?
Yeah, generally for where most people are at in this course, if you just want to get a business to 150 to 250 members, in Facebook, you would essentially go to groups that have your niche within it. So it'd either be a localized group or a niche specific group for online. And you would add people from those groups who are commenting and engaging on the posts. Will be an easy way to do that. You add 30 people of a morning, 30 people of a night, you'll have 5,000 friends in about 18 months. And then on the Instagram side of things, even though a lot of people don't like this strategy, it is the strategy we use to get 9.4 bookings a week on Instagram, which is simply going to other people within your niche and following people who are engaging in their content. About 18% of those people will follow you back. If you do 50 a day, you'll get about 50 new followers every single week that you can start to bridge through your content. So that's the easiest ways up to about that 200 member mark in a business. And then you've obviously got relevant hashtags and things like that. For 99.9% of the people that we work with, that is all you need to do.
That's super helpful. And I love how specific you are. So right there, it's 9.4 bookings. So this is a man not teaching from theory, but he knows his numbers inside and out. And it's obviously a pivotal part of your business. And then also understanding reverse engineering that, going, well, this is how many people we need to follow to get that 18% to follow back to hit that number as well.
And the big thing with like getting, followers, like mainly on Instagram, people have this weird thing of, 100 people follow me and I'm following 500, is depending why you're doing social media is really important. If you want to become an influencer, say, for example, my wife has 270,000 followers. Now, she doesn't use the follower unfollower strategy because she wanted to be an influencer. She does shout out for shout out and all these different tactics. But for you guys as fitness business owners, you should be posting on social media to make more money, right? You shouldn't be doing that. So that way you can use those basic strategies, right, to be able to elicit the goal that you want. It's a lot quicker way to do it, but you will see a lot of people saying different things on how you can grow accounts, which there's thousands of different ways. You've just got to make sure the way that you decide to grow your account helps you achieve your goals in the short term and the long term, and that you know which metrics actually matter in social media. And the only metric that truly matters is how much money you make from an account. That's all that actually matters. There's a lot of leading indicators to that level, but the only thing that should matter as a business owner is how many sales did I get from my Instagram this week, not how many followers you have.
Yeah, not the vanity metrics. We want outcome-based metrics that actually help grow our business. Absolutely love that. Now, we talked about, that was part one, was growing the audience. Part two was actually a content rhythm. And you mentioned a couple of different formats that work particularly well. Social proof, results,
Yep.
Either on your own journey or your client's journey as well. can you elaborate a little bit on that? What have you seen work really well? Is there some formats in particular that the audience would find helpful?
Yeah, definitely on the social proof side of things. A couple of things I've seen recently is doing a post on a Monday about all the clients who are getting amazing results with inside your fitness business, whether it's 3 people or whether it's 30 people, has been working well, kind of like a little weekly recap as such. Then you've obviously got, all the different testimonials you can do. Probably the 2 most powerful and easiest for you guys to implement would be a star story solution, which is where you write a story about your clients. You position them as the star. You say what their story was and the solution you gave them to help them achieve X result. And then obviously like little video testimonials and things like that do really well in stories, also in reels as well. You'll find often in your testimonial posts, you don't get the most engagement in comparison to connection-based posting and results in advance, but it's what helps move the needle forward very quickly within your sales cycle. So usually we recommend doing about 1 to 2 testimonial posts a week. And of course, if you guys are just starting out, just make yourself the testimonial. So you can always post about your own results and things like that.
Love that. Now, you mentioned 2 other posting formats that are very, very powerful at this stage. The first one was connection. So what is a connection post, or what is a connection piece of organic content, Jimmy?
Yeah, so with a lot of the terms in marketing is I believe people buy off people they like. So, as much as the audience wants to get a result, if you're more likable and relatable, it will help people move through that buyer cycle faster. So a couple of connection posts would essentially be where you're focusing on being vulnerable, right? And sharing your story so they know that either you are them or you have been your audience previously. It's where a lot of people in fitness businesses, whether it's online or face-to-face, do really well when they've had some type of radical transformation in their life, and they then help people achieve that result. So a good connection-based post or a couple of good frameworks that always work really well is why you became a personal trainer or a fitness coach. You could definitely do that every single month and repurpose it because you have new followers and new friends and they don't know your story. And also talking about like potential hardships that you've had in your life. Maybe you've gone on holidays and you put on 3 to 4 kilos like I do every holiday, and you can talk about that. Talking about little things about how you overcame injuries, why you fell in love with fitness and you believe that strength training, 3 days per week is needed for everyone, and more just sharing your story and just being a little bit more vulnerable, or a good term to use is being relatable to the audience.
I love that. So really showcase your personality. One of the big things that I took away from a guy called Vince Del Monte is people don't buy coaching, they buy coaches. Similar in the fitness space, very, very similar, and they're going to resonate and connect with you.
Well, it's all in the coaching space, right? So, even if they don't get to do coaching off you, if some bigger business owners are watching it, quite often you're the face of that brand. So every coach off the back of you is just a reflection of you anyway.
Absolutely love that. And so important to show that vulnerability, that authenticity, because in a competitive market, the differentiating factor is quite often yourself. So love that you showcase the personality and emphasize that. Now, the other format you mentioned was results in advance. What's a results in advance style post?
Yeah, so this is a posting that moves your authority forward faster than any other post, I believe, where it's actually posting content that people can implement and get a result without paying you a cent. And a lot of the biggest organic influencers that you guys will watch on social media do this more than anyone else. So it's coming down to the ethos is the more value you give the world, the more revenue you get back within your business. But we always talk about a concept of actually making your social media accounts worth money. So, say if Dan paid you $150 every week to be your friend on Facebook, you would post some really valuable content. You would give away really good meal plans, really good training programs. You'd give all your best mindset stuff away. And so that way in your content is if you can give away the most value, you will get the most authority. And you've just got to know that the actual content that you post, even though I think my content is the world's best content and I love it, I know that you can go and find that on YouTube. You can find it in other people's podcasts. You can find it on Instagram. actually content is in abundance in this world. So you want to give away your best resources that people can help themselves with and change their life so that you get extreme authority. And an outcome would be is, say, for example, if you help people lose 5 kilos or more, that was our niche in our gyms, is if in my content, I could help Dan lose 5 kilos, if that was a goal with his, without ever paying me a cent, it means my content is really valuable. And we've just got to know that people pay for accountability. Even if you give your best stuff away, even you guys watching this video, there'll only be 3% of people that will take action off watching it, right? So what people will pay for is the accountability and the customization. So that's where you can freely just give away your absolute best content, just knowing that they can probably get it in Men's Health from a more established source anyway.
I absolutely love that. I love the abundance principle, because a lot of people will hold things close to their chest and they'll say, no, this is my IP, or these are my strategies and my clients pay for this and everything else. But the reality is, no, they don't pay for that. They pay for the accountability that comes with it.
Yeah, and we've just got to know where we're at in terms of fitness professionals. And I must say, I used to be there myself. I used to love a guy named Charles Poliquin. Do you remember Charles?
I do.
With a lot of his stuff, like for those who follow a fitness influencer, Charles Poliquin's blog, right, is probably worth about $4 million to someone who's willing to execute on it. So me giving out a basic meal plan when he's, was posting that stuff daily, just over and over, really world-class blogs. It's like, I'm not better than him. You're not better than people who are giving his stuff away for free, so they can get the resources. So you might as well give it away so you become the authority. Otherwise, they're just going to go to someone else who is giving away amazing stuff, and they're going to become the authority. Thus, they're going to get the sale.
Yeah, and I really like that frame that you presented. You've said it to me a few times, and it's been immensely helpful over the years, is make your social media, your free social media content so good that people would pay $50 a week, $100 a week. And so if you were to do an audit right now on your social media, would people pay for it? If they're not, then we need to lift the game, because organic marketing is not going to work for you.
I really like a quote from a guy named Alex Hermosi, which was, make your free content better than their paid programs.
So good. So good. Now, that's the content side. The last pillar, which you do particularly well, you do all of this well, but particularly well, is the sell by chat. I know there's a lot to it. We've only got a finite amount of time, but what are some of the things that people do traditionally wrong in sell via chat? And then where do they need to rectify that to get some wins?
Yeah, probably the most common thing is, not introducing yourself to all your new friends and followers on social media. So a lot of people will focus, especially on the Instagram side, they'll obsess about how many followers they have, but they actually haven't communicated with all the followers they do have. So just making sure you introduce yourself. It could be as simple as saying, hey, Dan, thank you so much for following me on Instagram. Where are you based? I live in Manly. Right? Just starting to, start that conversation. But then definitely on, social media, like anything in life, is the more output you have, the better results you get. So say, for example, if you have myself and Dan, if Dan sends 100 messages a day on social media and I send 5, is Dan's going to absolutely annihilate me in terms of the sales. But then the final one is, you've got to have a framework or a script to move people through from saying hello to building rapport down to potentially getting in a sales consultation, whether it's face-to-face or over the phone. But just having a basic framework that you follow is absolutely integral in that process.
Love that. So 3 really simple tips. Number 1, does anyone that's got any kind of level of interaction with you, liking a post, commenting, following your page, start a conversation. All right. So very, very easy, that one. Number 2, it's a numbers game. The person that has the most amount of conversations is going to win. Number 3, don't wing this. You don't wing a sales call. This is a sales conversation. So you need to have a script that you follow. So there's a real coherence to the conversation itself. Love that, mate. Now, who would you recommend the people listening have a look at from a social media perspective in terms of best practice, maybe on some of those connection posts, maybe from some of those results in advance? Is there some people that you would recommend that would be really inspiring? Who have you been inspired by in this space?
In the fitness space specifically, or the space that I'm in, Dan?
In the fitness space in particular.
Knees Over Toes, I believe, does it the best in the world in terms of results in advance and really actionable content. In terms of messaging and very clearly knowing what you stand for and what you stand against would be a guy named James Smith. He's a UK-based guy. He's an absolute cack. And in terms of like really, really good workouts and nutrition type of marketing that you can use, a really, really cool guy named Marcus Philly over in the States. They're predominantly a lot on like Instagram, but you'll be able to transfer that content over. I think they're the creme de la creme at the moment from what I've seen.
Yeah, I would agree. I think all three are absolutely incredible at what they do, and really what you can see in practice is those principles that Jimmy's talked about.
Yeah, I really like Knees Over Toes. Like, you could never pay Knees Over Toes a cent and fix your knee issues. It's the way that he articulates his content, which is quite complex, down to dumb it down to everyone's level, and the way that he's positioned himself in the market is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. He's very, very good, and he's obviously built quite an audience, and you'll be able to see why he's been able to build fairly quickly. And it's because of the value he puts out to the world and how he communicates and presents. Now, Jimmy, for a lot of the people there, they're probably saying this organic marketing game sounds okay. I am interested. I do want to grow my business. What would be your words of encouragement to them? How do they get started? And how do they really start to become better at this game?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing is you've got to know why you want to do organic marketing, because it does take time. It's like anything in life and business. So you've got to attach it to your why of like, why do you want to grow your business? Why do you want to help more people? Usually there's one personal element, like you want to earn more money and, not worry about, travel that you have coming up and get a cool house and stuff like that. But then there's usually an external why as well, that you might be really passionate to help like 30,000 people or whatever it might be. So you need to connect with that, because otherwise you'll have trouble implementing everything, especially when it gets tough. And then if you're just starting out, I'd recommend starting on just one social media platform. So say, for example, our friend Dylan Fowler built an online business to 130 members just using a Facebook profile. So then what you can do is for 90 days, you can focus just on your Facebook personal profile if you like. You can still repurpose your content to Instagram and TikTok if you like, but you're spending 90% of your time on that singular platform, learning how to grow that, learning how to scale that, because then you can easily transfer your skills over to another platform. E.g., at the moment, TikTok's really popular. Now, if you understand the concepts of marketing and influence, then you're able to transfer what you've learned over those years over to TikTok, because you're learning a different way to position your content. So focus on one way for 90 days to 120 until you're getting 5 to 10 bookings a week. And then you can start to focus heavily on another platform if you need to, because you've developed the skills on that singular platform. And that's where most people go wrong, is they'll decide to market organically and they'll do like YouTube shorts, they'll do Facebook, they'll do Instagram, they'll do TikTok, when they don't have the time or team to implement 4 platforms. So just focus on one. You'll be able to get, I think at current time of shooting this video, we get 17 bookings a week from my personal Facebook, 9.4 from my Instagram. That's bookings attended. So you guys, if you could just get one of those accounts working, is in a fitness business, that will help you grow by 2 to 3 members a week.
Super powerful. Less is more. Simplicity scales. And try not to chase those multiple rabbits, because you'll end up with none. So really choose that platform where a majority of your clientele is, master that. And then obviously you can build layers and stack upon that. Mate, this has been immensely beneficial. I know you put out a lot of amazing organic content to help fitness business owners. For those listeners out there, for those people going through the course, consuming this content, how can they get in touch with you?
Probably the best way would be like Facebook or Instagram. My name's Jimmy Pomponio, kind of everywhere. And then if you guys wanted to learn a lot more about marketing processes, is our podcast, Fitness Business Secrets, is probably the best place to go to after that, for sure.
Fantastic. I highly recommend every one of you does those two things. Number one, just find Jimmy on social media. He is incredible with the amount of content that he puts out and the quality of it. Secondly, that podcast is second to none in terms of just the volume and the quality as well. Jimmy, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on here, sharing your wisdom, your experience, and your insights. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.